Earlier, I spoke to Nando Sigona. He's a professor of migration studies at the University of Birmingham here in the UK. I started by asking him what's causing the sharp increase in dangerous boat journeys across the English Channel.
Once it became more difficult to travel to the UK through other means, for example, by flight, by train, on the back of lorries, for example, because as a result of the pandemic, these new routes start to emerge. At the beginning, it was just a few people that tried it, but once it became clear that it was a viable route from the perspective of those who wanted to reach the United Kingdom, now we see gradually that is becoming more structured with a bigger play being involved. I mean, in terms of smuggling sort of business being involved. The nature of the boat involved has changed. You have a larger boat being used, etc. So what we see now is that it's not the case that the number of asylum application is increased massively in the United Kingdom. We have actually a shift towards a different route because no other route is available. And the problem with this shift is that this route is dangerous.
Because you can really see that in the nationalities of people arriving to the UK and claiming asylum. You look at the countries, it's Syria, it's Afghanistan, it's Iraq, it's Sudan. It's people coming from places where it's pretty obvious that they probably would have very valid claims for asylum. I mean, do you see anything in the current discourse around immigration, either in the UK or at EU level, that signals that that would change, that people that do have valid reasons to apply for asylum would have other options as opposed to just getting in a boat, whether it's across the Mediterranean or the Channel, and risking their lives?
The sign we got are certainly not positive in terms of the defense and the protection of the right to claim asylum, international protection. This is particularly true in the context of the United Kingdom, where there is a very strong push towards making less and less accessible the asylum procedure. This is also happening, though, at the same time with the creation of a resettlement scheme for people that have already been recognized as refugees. So the government will say that they are providing safe route. The truth is that the places available in the resettlement scheme are just the tip of an iceberg. They really, for example, in the first 9 months of 2021, they just provided the resettlement for just over 1,000 people, when there were about over 35,000 applications for asylum, for example.
What kind of cooperation do you think the UK and France could have that would make sure that something like what happened on Wednesday doesn't happen again? There's talk of joint patrols. Do you think that would help?
In the past, when the United Kingdom was part of the European Union, the principle of burden sharing, of solidarity among the member states also meant that there were mechanisms in place that would enable a country to transfer asylum seekers to another according to specific principle. Since the implementation of Brexit, so with the January of 2020, what is happening is that the UK is no longer part, for example, of the Dublin regulation, the one that established that the country that is responsible for an asylum application is the first country in the European Union where the person has arrived. So this means that it makes much more difficult, for example, once a person reaches the United Kingdom to be moved elsewhere. And this is one of the tension that we see at the moment. The European Union doesn't accept people back.
There's a lot of political talk about smashing the people smuggling rings. But is it possible to do that while the demand for people to try to leave their country and reach Europe and the UK remains high?
People will look for other options. So the smugglers are really offering a service where no other traveling routes are available. If a person could travel from Afghanistan or from Syria with an EasyJet flight, they would certainly do it because it's safer, because it's cheaper, because it's faster. But those options are not available. So it's likely that the business for the smuggling industry is going to be still there unless legal routes are developed.